I know this city on the banks of Birrarung well, even though it is not my country. My country is thousands of kilometres away, in Noongar Budja, but I've lived here for over a generation, over 25 years. Even when I leave to travel or to briefly move down the coast, closer, but not even close to my country, I've kept connections here. This is my home in a matter of speaking, even though I have a real forever home. And if I ever leave here with no intention of coming back, I will still have decades here to connect me. This city will always be part of me. At one point, I knew these streets better than I knew myself. I knew every nook, every place you could go in secret and not be noticed, every cheap place to find food. I knew where there was a heater that kept the public area warm at night, all night. And I knew a place where the police would let you sleep through the night without bothering you. And I knew where there was a convenience store that threw out milk the moment it went out of date, but long before it actually went sour. And exactly what time of day they did it. Because I lived on these streets. I was homeless right here. Sleeping in the train station over there. In those old roof train stations that they've demolished a lot of, and the rest of them they've fenced up. I look back then and I can barely believe it myself. I can scarcely believe that the person talking to you from a stage was once homeless, sleeping on these streets with nothing more than a blanket. Strange, isn't it, that despite being homeless on the street, I never once considered going home to my ancestral country. There I would be safe, right? Perhaps it's because I felt at home here. Perhaps I knew deep down the fundamental truth. I would have been just as homeless there. One thing rarely or barely ever spoken about in this nation is the existence of homeless Indigenous people. Some of them homeless in their own homeland, others displaced and unable to return home. Some, like me, know where we belong, but there's no community or housing or Aboriginal land there. I've been told by racist idiots who don't like that I dare to be uppity in their presence, to go home to community, to go back to the bush, when in reality, there's absolutely nowhere for me to go. If I went to a random Aboriginal community, I'd be stealing someone else's land. I would not, in fact, be going home. I have nowhere to go, and if I want to go home, I have to buy land myself. My ancestral country is mostly Crown land. There are a couple of mines, a national park, which is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, some farms where nobody has ever made any money, a couple of small towns that are trying hard to become ghost towns, and a shitload of unallocated Crown land. A lot of land that nobody actually wants. Yet when the Noongar people, my nation, when we won our land rights, the government resisted. They fought us in court and promised to do so until all our elders returned to the dreaming, never seeing our land back. To protect, in my country at least, Crown land. But the thing is, there should be no such thing as Crown land. There should be no such thing as Crown land in Australia. None at all. It never existed and never will. It's not even accurate for me to say there should be no such thing as Crown land, because legally there already is no such thing as Crown land. Crown land is a legal fiction reliant for its entire existence on the legal fiction called terra nullius. And here's the important thing. After Mabo, after Wick, after legal changes that John Howard, that bastard, instituted to protect private land after Mabo and Wick, native title exists over all land that had not been allocated to purpose before 1992. Native title means Unallocated land does not belong to the Crown. It belongs to the traditional owners. It's not accurate to say there should be no such thing as Crown land. It's more accurate to say there is no such thing as Crown land. There always was no such thing as Crown land. Crown land is an illusion, a fiction. Handing back all Crown land to the traditional owners is not an aspiration or a nice idea. It's acceptance of a fundamental fucking truth. Indigenous people already own every square centimetre of land that has not been sold or put to use by the government. That is, we already own all the Crown land, yet we're never given free use of it. I stand here, Nam, on Wurundjeri land under the sky country. If I touch the water of that river, I touch water that will flow to the sea. And that sea will connect to my budja, to my homeland, Wirlaman Budja, where the hakies bloom and where the Banksia woodlands meet the sea. The sky country and sea country also connects to where the bones of my ancestors lay. And where the bones of your ancestors lay, no matter where you're from. Sky and sea connects all humanity. But if I go home right now, if the sky could take me home to my homeland, across the desert country, across the treeless plains, I would still not have a homeland on which to live. I'm no longer homeless. I live on Wurundjeri country. I rent a house up the river. But I have no home in my homeland. And after the agreement my land council signed with the government giving up the rights to all the Crown land so the fighting can just stop, I never will unless I buy it. And that's what Australia is. Australia is a kleptocracy. The way the colony treats us is like stealing our car and offering to sell it back to us. Or, when you're really lucky, they steal your car and offer it for a really good rental price. There is no such thing as Crown land. Giving it back, acknowledging Crown land belongs to the traditional owners, won't solve all our problems. But it would be a fucking good start. Thank you.